You said it.
What? What did you say? Say I am a champion. Say I am blessed. I am too great to be little. Wow, yourself.
Just say something. Say something. Say something. Hello. Hello. From birth to death, a Benin cultural voyage compiled by Sam O.U. Igbe, ISBN 978 9834. Chapter Ritual Performances in Benin. Sweet You, Eboigbe. Introduction. Traditional religion of the people of Benin, Nigeria, and animate all sphere of the cultural experience, the religious belief, value, encapsulate understanding in his analysis in May 1986 describes an integrated system of life that is interpenetrated and molded by an existing traditional religion. He has said, also that the people of Benin are decidedly polytheists, but uphold the sovereignty of a supreme being, the Creator, God, Usanobua, whose position is never compromised. In conveying this notion, every religious worship commences with prayer and supplication to the Creator, God, as a testimony of His supremacy. The Benin pantheon of divinities consists of several deities: Olokun, Ogun, Ovia, Okwai, etc. All of them are venerated spirits are other terms identified as intermediaries between the Creator and man, occupying prominent places. The triple cord of ritual, belief, and institutions are the essential elements of Africans' traditional religion. As Stringham, 1968, rightly observed, this is indeed true of the traditional religious practice in Benin. Practice in Benin. The above evolved out of the people need of the people need the above evolved out of the people needs and desire to forge a bridge between two cosmological existing realms. The tangible words of the living and the invisible realm of supernatural entities. Of supernatural entities, Agbon and Eiri, respectively. In fostering such a link, and through it, the people actively attempt to harmonize their lives with the beyond religious experience. Religious experience and generally revolve around the experience of the sacred and is in turn the fulcrum of a series of social relationships that arise to support them. It is against the background that the performance of such ritual in Benin is viewed. The focus is on the meaning, the purposes, and the type of rituals, as well as the procedure and significance of these principal aspects that arise. Principal aspects of the Benin cultural heritage. The meaning of rituals. The term ritual can be viewed from two perspectives. Firstly, as all rites aligned with ceremony, and secondly, as a traditional or set way of penetrating religious worship. Simply put, ritual performance are religious observations. Ritual performance are religious observations carried out by accredited religious functionaries, priests, priestess, devotees, etc. The purpose of ritual performance, as chief priest Ebon rightly observes, is to ensure the continuity of religious pattern and to convey the messages of religion. The various rituals performed by the people of Benin are the principal avenues through which they express their gratitude towards the supernatural and the outlet to communicate and commune with the supernatural entities. Origin of ritual performance. The roots of this religious practice is deeply embedded in the African traditional religion. It stems from the need to maintain a cordial relationship between the worshipped and the worshipper. The ultimate aim is to ensure that any upset of the equilibrium of this existing relationship is rectified and restored. is rectified and restored. The function of rituals. The system of worship in Benin is eminently practical, with various rituals designed and geared towards the objective channeling of the supernatural dynamism which controls life and everyday issues of human existence. For both individual and societal welfare to positive advantage. The Benin Pantheon is highly complex and recognizes many deities and religious beliefs. And practice. The religion is a way of life which contributes to the integration of the individual personality and help to ensure the amalgamation of the fellowship of the practitioners. Thus, the principal function of the religious endeavor is to enhance the well-being of the society by maintaining the sustenance of societal moral order. Put differently, the expression of their religious belief through the performance of rituals not only underscore the metaphysical significance and essence of their existence as a people of culture, but also inherently stress that the practice has the added advantage of ensuring public morals, piety, justice, fraternity, equity, and fair play. These are the ideas which the traditional religion of the people reflects on as the very essence of their rites and practice. And the tenets which they strive assiduously to uphold and sustain. It is therefore no surprise that in spite of the brutal assault on it from the several forces of acculturation, the traditional religion and its associated rites and practices have persisted and endured through time. The types and purposes of rituals. basic reason why human worship, as Orubu 2001 informs, is to enable mortals cope with the intransigence of the natural environment and its dynamic effect on human activities. The types and purposes of ritual are divergent. The various kinds can be classified into two broad categories, namely societal or communal ritual and personal or individual ritual. Chapter 3. Arosa, God's Shrine. Introduction. Emose. Emose. A pregnant woman had cooked rice, had cooked more of the food of life than she could eat. Contrary to a Sanoboa injunction that mankind may have as much of the food as needed, no more than that. Emose. After that, man had to work hard to find food for himself, his wife, and his children, as he had not done before. There was death everywhere. In the land. So the people thought they had to make contact with their Creator and to ask for a change of fortune. They wanted Osanoba to stop Ogiu imposing death on the young. They wanted them to live until they were very old. They would rather have rainfall and sunshine at all times of the year, for that would stop the drought and hunger. They wanted to be able to visit the earth after death. Leaders and priests of various deities gathered for prayers. As they were there, as they were wont to do, they sanctified themselves and the place where they had gathered. After days of prayers and things had not changed, Okiwe powerful praise offered to take the prayers of the people of Osariemen. People came to the site, prayed, and went away. So, the people carried out Okeawu will to the later. People came to the site, prayed, and went away. Some time later, they decided that the place of their prayers needed a mark to make it where they worship God internally. They planted a tree called way down and heaped earth on its base. And they have created a shrine. That shrine came to symbolize the eminence of Osariemen. The prayers went up at the shrine day after day for years. One day, darkness was upon the earth at noon. A huge ball affirmed the presence of a queue in heaven. The voice went on. Okeawu has delivered your message to me, but your wishes are against my creative way, and I will not grant them. The two had spoken, and darkness again fell. And darkness again fell upon the earth. Later, a new ball of fire fell to leave that darkness, and it was daylight no more. To the people's grief, Okeawu never came back to earth. They ruled the experience and thought that mankind cannot be witnesses of what goes on in heaven as the ones thought they could. Since then, they have used the adage, there is no weakness of life after death. The people organized a search for the fireball, but what they found was no fireball at all. Instead, in a place which is today the junction of Ibesawa and Arosa streets in Benin City, they found a huge black stone. They named that spot Arosa, which literally means God's shrine. That black stone was one of the relics the British took away. The British took away during the punitive expedition of 1897. Of 1897. The Edo built a place of worship where they had always gathered to pray for Okwai joining until they heard the voice they thought was Osanobua. That is the place where they built the Holy Arosa house of worship, and that is where it is today on Akpakpakbava Street. The name Akpakpava is a corruption of some words or words the Portuguese expressed during their visit to the city. One idea was that Papa and Ver or Via, two words the Portuguese were said to have used when they described the location of the church. They saw during their visit to the city in 1472. Another thought was that they might have seen poppy, the opium plant called Babava in Latin. But there is no evidence that Edo land is specially suited to the growth of that plant then or now. Arosa Sibo is the open eye, the eye of God, watching over His creation. Watching over His creation. It is itself a symbol of the Edo direct experience of God. The Oba of Benin and all of Edo land is the earth of Arosa, but the priests pray not to him, but to God alone and directly. Here is a remarkable durability of concepts. The Edo we pray to God alone at the shrine of God, but we also pray at home, even at other shrine to He who they believe to be the author ego in heaven, into spirits that would intimidate between them and God. The chief priest, Oenwosa, led a delegation of priests to Portugal not long after the Portuguese visited Benin City in 1472. They studied the mode of worship in the churches in Portugal and on their return altered the way they dressed as well as the doctors, as well as the order and mode of worship in Arosa. However, Arosa body of belief, the teaching and practices did not change. How is worship carried out in Arosa? People who share the faith begin their worship of Osanobua God, knowing God by invoking His presence through song and by cleansing and sanctifying themselves. I, Yahweh, Egbene Osariemen, Yahweh Egbene Osariemen. That means I purify myself for my God. This is followed by more song, dances, and prayers. Arosa teaching have much to do with what they do believe to be the chains of the event of creation by God. Arosa uses traditional musical instruments. Including drums and ukuse. The people of Edoland believe that the sound of drum, songs, and dances help to invoke the Spirit of God. That is why they say we start worship with ukuse and the gong. Prayers are mostly in song. Typically, one such song says, we believe in God and we serve Him because we have all quarrels, bitterness, sickness, death, and poverty. A popular closing song says, God, we have made time to serve you. Give us the time and the blessings to achieve our goals. To achieve our goals. Worship is on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Arosa learned baptism and confirmation from the Catholic practice in Portugal. They regard them as initiation into the inner sanctum of the faith, and baptism is with white chalk, and confirmation is with palm frond. Ubore. Arosa, in the reign of Asein II. Arosa declined, as most things did in Edo land after the punitive expedition of 1897. Throughout the years of British rule and influence, they thought Arosa was demonic, and so they ordered a stop to the worship of God the way the Edo did. For some 40 years, some of the people practiced the faith on the ground, but Asein II had the courage to revive it in the 1940s. He rebuilt the house of worship on Akpakpava Road in 1945 and called it a cathedral. He established 12 Arosa schools in Benin City, in Rora and in other places to spread the teaching of faith. Through his influence, Arosa houses of worship were built in Onitsha, Umuahia, and Port Harcourt, as well as in Cotonou in Benin Republic. However, the Nigerian Civil War ended the gains of Omonoba Akinzua II when the military took over the reign of government. The seized mission schools and Arosa were some of them. Asein incursion into evangelism has been dealt a savage blow. The military has left the stage and a new set of rules are in place. But like the most black Americans, they have no solemn demeanor and cannot think of where the energies lies that will mobilize the forces of their people. Arosa today. Arosa live on, gathering momentum amidst hundreds of the new Pentecostals' faith and drawing its adherents from many of those who believe in the Benin cultural reliance on Omonoba Edo, Uku Akwalakwala. Oba of Benin is the spiritual head of the faith. Cathedral is run by a council of elders under a chairman who, at this time, is the writer, Colonel Paul Osariemen. The chief priest, Usa Nokwa, and other officials of the faith run the church. The Omonoba Edo, along with his chief and family, attend annual Thanksgiving services at the church at the end of the Uge festival each year. The king and his people. Omorogie Akinzua. The existence of the people of Benin was at all times overrun the life and times of their king. General development depended on the king's activities and his desires. Thoughts on the king and his people would therefore raise historical issues of the contemporary political, cultural, and administrative importance. From historical commentaries, this imperial kingdom existed and deliberately developed greatness, power, and influence, along with resilient culture and tradition, on which its renown and heritage has grown. The Beninese have the eras of Odionwe, 31 Ogiso, the Caladera Integium, and 39 others to thank for these developments. Reasoning from the point of view, it is easy not only to acknowledge from the outset that visible events, challenges, and changes have taken place in the long history of Benin kings and his people, but also that we must appreciate why and how great Benin developed into a kingdom. Why and how great Benin transformed into an empire and then crystallized as people, philosophy into our tradition and culture that have earned them enviable fame and strength, even as they've been affected by interactions and admixtures of conflicting cultures in a general permissive world. Before the advent of modern politics, the king, Oba of Benin, was an absolute monarch. He was both a spiritual and political head, as well as the highest organ of justice in the kingdom. Even today, the king receives dozens of supplications from loyal subjects who believe that the king law is the only just law in the land. From those troubled by and accused of witchcraft to those whose inheritance has been stolen by relation, they flock before the Oba throne for justice. The Benin do not only believe that their king is God, representative on earth, they still believe that Benin City is the cradle of the universe. The Oba waged so much influence on the life of his subjects that if he asked them to jump, the only question would be how high. A Portuguese missionary, Dagba, who visited Benin in the 21st century, described the absolute power of the Oba, or the king of Benin, in the following words. The king of Benin governs with an unlimited authority and calls all his subjects servants, however great and noble they may be. For all his people, high and low, are bound to acknowledge themselves to be the servants of the king. The Oba governs absolutely his will, being a law and breathing to his subjects, which none of them dare oppose. To some extent, this tradition of absolute authority still succeeds in Benin Kingdom. One may ask, how come an institution that has been dismissed elsewhere as an anachronism can be so vibrant in a modern 21st century federal republic with a written constitution. The secret is in the Benin monarchy itself. While coming to terms with the modernity regulated by a constitution which is the highest law in the land, it has maintained its clarity of vision on its responsibilities from such a high moral and cultural pedestal that is virtually unassailable. In Benin Kingdom, in Benin Kingdom, the conventional saying is the government and governors come and go, but the king remains forever. With the advent of modern politics and democratic rule, the political reformers, whether self-styled Democrats or progressives, have made concerted efforts to store up a stock of contemporary political ammunition and unveilable reforms to debase our cherished culture and tradition. Of course, there is nothing new in this posture, and certainly nothing unique to politics and democracy. What we, as a people, have not witnessed what we, as a people, have no witnessed since our independence 49 years ago. The Benin Kingdom remained a strong and unifying bond for the Beninese and all. Thank you very much. I'll be taking a short break. We are reading the book From Birth to Death, A Benin Cultural Voyage by Sam O.U. Igbe. Thank you.
Just like they're supposed to meet the other.
Hello. Before the advent of modern politics, the king, Oba of Benin, was an absolute monarch. One may ask, how come an institution that has been dismissed elsewhere as an anachronism can be so vibrant in the modern 21st century Federal Republic with a written constitution? The secret is in the Benin monarchy itself. Why coming to terms with modernity regulated by a constitution which is the highest law in the land? It has maintained clarity of vision on its responsibilities from a high moral and cultural pedestal that is virtually unassailable. In Benin Kingdom, the conventional saying, or the Edo people, a fair amount of generalization shows that origin of Benin, as we know them today, under their various kings, is lost in time. There are many accounts and theories about the origin of the Benin by writers on Benin history, including oral history handed down from one generation to another. However, many writers of Benin history have anchored their accounts or views on the theory of migration. Generally, these writers are essentially academics without concrete evidence in support of their views of what the right. Chief Dr. Jacob Ouadier, 1893 to 1980, an eminent and foremost writer on Benin history and custom, held that the Beninese migrated from Egypt. On this theory of migration, Chief Dr. Igaiwa argued persuasively that the Benin made a brief halt in Sudan and later at Ile-Ife. And finally came to their present land, where they met an inferior people and settled. Some of the fundamental questions from the account of Chief Igaiwa, which remain unanswered up to now, are: who were these inferior people? How did they get there? Was there an extinction of the so-called inferior people? However, Chief Igaiwa has been recognized as the best known indigenous historian. Our deduction from the various accounts of the origin of our Edo people are, without prejudice to the efforts of the various historians and their writers on the historical origin of Benin, a constructive analysis of the available information put together to arrive at the proper history of Benin Kingdom in a search for truth and eternity. A proper view, as of today, is that no one, including the historians and other writers, is really certain about the origin of the Beninese, which appear to have been lost in time. Legend of the distant past. What is certain is that the earliest rulers of Benin were called Ogiso. 31 Ogiso ruled the kingdom of Benin between 900 to 1200 AD. This is the earliest period so far fully accounted for in Benin history. The transformation of Benin Kingdom. The Great Benin Empire. At its height of glory, the Benin were head and shoulders above their contemporaries in all spheres of human endeavor, even beyond the border of Nigeria. The Benin established their influence, power, and authority by conquest and extended their kingdom to the vast Yoruba land up to Lagos, which was originally used as a military camp known as Eko. Benin spread their power and authority along the west coast of Africa, whose seaboards is today known as the Bight of Benin. They prove to be the great architect and engineers when they dug a giant protective moat around the entire city between 1280 and 1295 AD. Without any mechanical equipment, a great feat beyond the new generation. The Great Benin Moat is described in the Guinness Book of Record as second in magnitude only to the Great China Wall. For over 5 centuries, the Benin Kingdom thrived and had an extensive network with the Portuguese and later with other European nations. Primarily in ivory, palm oil, and pepper, and left a great heritage of insuperable traditions and culture. The British invasion of the kingdom in 1897 and the subsequent deportation of Oba Ovoname to Calabar, where he transited in exile in 1914, remains a painful heart of premeditated and deliberate oppression and violence. Waged against the king and his people. As well as a reckless exhibition of military might in violation of all known human rights and international laws. The British Act of Invasion, as planned and executed, was thus the immediate cause of the fallout of a powerful and great empire. And a breach in the progress of a civilization. A huge empire which rose by the dint of her power, wisdom, and industry fell by the military aggression of the British, who were the offenders, prosecutors, and judges in their own case. It was a travesty of justice by a people who wanted the trading environment of an order. As we reflected on the people of Benin, we must note that the success story of the Benin Kingdom can never be told in a single paper like this. It can neither be eroded by the British invasion of 1897, nor by the seeming triumph of modern politics over our people's inherent customs and traditions. We must also observe that with the advent of democratic politics, our leaders, in violation of the will and legacies of our ancestors, have failed. They have betrayed us. It seems a pardonable exaggeration to say that the Benin Kingdom was founded by her king and people and sustained by devotion, commitment, and faithfulness. Without a parallel in history. Today, no matter our desires, commitment, and language, our political and opinion leaders are the real obstacles in enacting the greatness, influence, power, and authority which endorse the great Benin Empire. As for us, we hear the Benin singing again the songs of their greatness and power, songs associated with the adoration of their obas and the greatness of our people across the ages. Let the melody of the song, however, spur and encourage us into a spontaneous unity of action as of old to bring progress to our people. We could and we would leave a greater heritage of those coming after us, rather than just live in our yesterdays. Do not let anyone talk us out of it. The Benin marriage, the Benin traditional marriage ceremony. Prof. Chief E. Emovo, PhD, DSc, the Obayagbona of Benin. Chapter 6. Marriage is a crucial phenomenon in life. It is the only major event in a life cycle of which one is conscious. At birth, the baby is completely unaware of his environment until some years later. As it is passive in the event of its birth. Similarly, in death, he or she is unaware of the happenings at his or her burial ceremony. He or she has become an inanimate object to be told about without resistance or feeling, but at a wedding, he or she can be an active participant. Today, distinct stages in the marriage ceremony. 1. Choice of partner, which require building up a relationship. This requires painstaking and patient search because it involves having a partner with whom you will live and share your fortunes and misfortunes. You will be parents of offspring to whom you have the joint obligation to be example and to nurture them to be useful citizens of the community. Social custom based on economic class, nationality, groups, and religious belief tends to influence the choice of a husband or a wife. For example, the parents of the man, of those of the woman, the parents of the man and those of the woman want them to marry from their own tribe or clan for better compatibility. There are restrictions. These restrictions have been greatly modified because of increased education, organization, and mobility of population, which tends to create a more homogeneous and democratic society. Marriage ceremony. This will be discussed in the next session. The families of the man and the woman are very much involved in the search. It conforms with the obligation of duties of the parents to find a wife or husband for their children. This involvement takes many forms. First, it is through betrothal. Here, the family of the suitor woos a girl child of the other family, which it considers meet the criteria of good health, character, and satisfactory social and economic class. The marriage and giving away ceremony. The couple take their time, however, to choose a convenient date for marriage ceremony. In doing this, they consider the convenience of both families, so which they formally pass the information. The period between this betrothal, which is now generally known as the introduction, and the marriage ceremony varies. It varies from couple to couple, depending on their circumstances, but should usually not be less than 6 months. When the date has been fixed, the marriage, when the date has been fixed, the family of the prospective bride gives a list of traditional and entertainment gifts appropriate to the occasion to the groom-to-be. token premarital gifts are included to represent the normal service which the groom now escaped in the name of modernity. These gifts would be presented on that day to portray the former request for the hand of the prospective bride in marriage. Members of both families are informed and invited as they form the principal, host and guests. Neighbors, friends, and well-wishers are also invited. These days, a local band set to boast the entertainment section of the ceremony. The appointment day soon arrives. The ceremony, being traditional, performed indoors, carries the reception hall are so arranged that the family of the bride and their invitees and that of the groom and their invitees will be seated face to face on opposite side of the hall. Invited persons who in the hall go out and sit in a pre-arranged for entertainment. At the appointed time, members of the family of the bride all get seated and to await the arrival of the family of the groom, who soon arrive and take their seats. Of course, they meet the host singing. And join in the singing and merry-making. Songs like Walking on Yemeno, while the singing is on the kola nut, drinks, an assorted type of soft drink are brought in by the family bride and placed before the guests. The spokesman of the host then calls for everybody's attention. He welcomes the guests on behalf of the Okagbe and the family and the father of the bride. And tells them that the family is happy to receive them as custom demands. Kola nuts, and drinks are served to welcome them. The guests, through their spokesman, thank their host profusely for the warmth of the for the warmth of their hospitality, but go on to say that in spite of the attraction of the kola nuts and drinks, they feel obligated to inform their hosts that their visit is in pursuance of their wish to marry the host's daughter. And to formally make a request on behalf of their own son. The spokesman then plead with their host should be kind enough to accede their humble request. The host promised to keep the request in view and request them to accept the reception presentation, whereupon the kola nuts are held before the eldest family of the visiting family. He prays for the bride and groom, both families, and all invited guests. He prays for the succession of the celebration that brought them to the house. He prays and he breaks the kola nut, take his share, give his host Okaigwe his share, and the rest are passed down. The bottle of all drink is opened as he poured the usual libation and prayers and gives the first glass to the Okaigbe or his host. The drinks are served around. Why that is going on, the guests start bringing in their traditional gifts. The guests start bringing in their traditional gifts for the occasion. 40 kola nuts, 1 gin or aromatic synapse, 1 carton of each of the various beer types, 2 cartons of stout, 2 cartons of malt drinks, crates of assorted soft drink, 1 keg of palm wine, 40 tubers of yam, 2 bunch of plantain, 1 tin of palm oil, 1 bag each of salt, rice, and garri, 20 coconuts, 1 of which is broken and sliced into 31 pieces for service. When all gifts have been brought out and properly identified, the guests through their spokesman express their appreciation of the gratitude for the warm welcome and hospitality of their hosts, and presenting the gifts once again. Emphasize the purpose of their presence at the ceremony. At this junction, the host family requests that the prospective groom be presented. He is brought forward and introduced to the host family, and once states his wish to have the daughter as his wife. The bride is led in with fanfare and requested to confirm before the family and her wish to marry the young man. He is hurried into the hall with song. Her family then tells her to go through with the family is a prerequisite for the acceptance of the gift presented by the guest. She then makes a full statement of her confirmation, after which she returns to her room. The prospective groom also returns to his seat. On this assurance, the Okaigbe of the host family prays for the bride and groom, both families and all well-wishers. He breaks the kola nut, takes his share, and the rest are passed round. He then prays, wish, and pours some libation from the bottle of gin, which was passed round. Other drinks are served to all present. And while this is going on, the groom family is requested to arrange to see, that is, give presents to the bride mother and also representative of the bigware, the youth and the family. The groom family then organize small groups of their members to undertake this duty, while drinking and singing go on. The group return later to their seats after accomplishing their assignment and are soon followed into the hall, first by the leaders of the Bigwe, who report that the guests had seen them, and they that are satisfied with the gifts given to them. The mother of the bride heralds with the song Iyomorigo, then comes in to report that the guests have also seen and satisfied her. The Okaigbe then asks her whether she subscribes to the marriage of her daughter into the guest's family. She answers in the affirmative and takes her seat. The proposal gifts are removed from the floor. The bride cries after the bigwe and the bed and the bride mother come in separately to announce the acceptance of the gift made to them by the groom family. The bride family declares its readiness to now give their daughter in marriage to the groom family. They ask that the bride price be paid. The bride price is the sum of 24 naira only, derived from the 12 pounds sterling of colonial Nigeria. This sum of 12 pounds sterling has, in turn, been derived from the monetization by the British 100 years ago of the premarital service, which in old Benin, the groom family has rendered the bride family during the year of the bride was going off. from the stage of a little girl to that of a maiden of marriageable age. This symbolic monetization is based on the fact that money spent in the upbringing of a child cannot be estimated. Igomo Agiaro. When these have been brought in by the groom family, the bride and groom are called into the hall. The groom kneels down before the bride father. The groom father stands behind the groom with his hands on his son's shoulders. The Okagbe or any other member of the bride family so delegated calls the groom names 6 times, but he does not answer. He is called on the 7th time by the bride father, and he answers loudly, "Ayo!" He places his daughter right hand in the groom's right hand and pronounces that he has given the daughter whose name he mentions in marriage to the groom effective from that day. He prays for them, and they then go on to sit on the seat provided. As soon as he concludes the prayer, the following song is rendered. The bride family then gets up from his own seat, takes his daughter by hand, seats her 7 times on the laps of the groom father, who thereafter finally seats her on his son's laps. The bride family follows this last rite with a solemn song. Where the rite signifies the importance of the family in the Benin marriage court. In the Benin marriage culture, the bride who is married to the family is given to the groom father, who is expected from then on to look after her as his own daughter. The groom mother is also advised accordingly. The bride the bridal procession to the groom house. After the formal wedding, the bride and the bridegroom, the bride and the bridegroom go their separate way in their homes. In the evening of the 3rd day, provided it is not an Eke day, the bride is led in a procession by some ladies and gentlemen of her family, which presents from her father to equip her to start a new life. In the groom house, this presents include These presents include wearing apparel, cleaning essentials, and cooking utensils. Sit down. And cooking utensils. The procession is usually interrupted by imaginary barriers on sighting their destination, which the groom family has to remove by giving presents. This is done 3 times along the way with the Oagian sounding out each time in unison, to which the groom family respond in song as follows. Oya zoere gbọ̀gọ̀d, oya zoere gbọ̀gọ̀d, nudori uwa gbọ̀gọ̀d, nudori tome gbọ̀gọ̀d, oya zoere gbọ̀gọ̀d, siwo. Please note. Please note, the bride is neither an Oha or Oya in her parents' home, nor can she be addressed as such during the marriage ceremony. The proclamation, Ohaganiao, and the song, Oyazoere, becomes relevant only when the husband's house is in sight. As the bride is taken to a new home. The proclamation is made by the members of her family who accompany her on her way home, and the song by the waiting party in her husband's home. It should be borne in mind that at no time is this sung in the bride's father's house. Finally, after all the procedures, the husband gives presents to the escort and also sends some to the parents of the bride, including a bowl of yam and accompanying soup, 4 kola nuts, 1 hot drink, and the remaining beer and soft drinks. They are taken home to the family of the bride to testify of the warmth of their reception at the groom home. The escort departs, leaving the wife with the husband. In a week that follows, the parents of the bride send food, usually pounded yam with antelope leg soup, to their daughter. The wife is ministered to during the first week of marriage, including indulging her with delicious food. She is referred to as Owiaha, and within 3 days of marriage, in days gone by, the mother of the bride looked forward to receiving a blood-stained sheet from their daughter, first sexual relation as a sign of their virginity. It was usually applied to the mother as evidence of her high moral upbringing. Present from her husband accompanied such exhibition. Thereafter, the couple lives their normal lives. Pregnancy to childbirth, traditional care in old Benin. Gabriel O. Osariemen A. Information from book is very scanty. This article includes traditional care through pregnancy. Traditional care through pregnancy. So the naming ceremony is Omo, with emphasis on the day of birth to the day of Izomo. The naming of the baby, my informant, is Madam Emily Obaseki, an octogenarian. Pregnancy, Imeto. Eldu. When it becomes clear that a woman is pregnant, she proceeds to make different type of hairdo, each showing the maturity of the pregnancy. This is particularly important if it's a first pregnancy. The 3 types of hairdo are Isaba. This hairdo or hairstyle, which is made during the early stage of pregnancy, only women whose first pregnancies were successful or whose first child survived and eligible whose first child survived are eligible to hold good, are eligible to plait the hairstyle for the pregnant women. These rules hold for subsequent pregnancy. The Saba hairdo, like modern Bob Marley hairstyle. It consists